Welcome to Barron's Roundtable, where we get behind the headlines to prepare you for the week ahead. I'm Jack Otter. Coming up, risky bets, entrepreneurship, and capitalism turned America into the world's greatest wealth creation machine. Can that winning formula continue for the next 250 years? Plus, drones are reshaping modern warfare. How investors should play the future of defense. We begin with our expert panel and three things investors ought to be thinking about right now. On the Barron's Roundtable, my colleagues Josh Schaefer, Teresa Rivas, and Jack Howe. So, Josh, stock buyers took a breather on Thursday, but maybe that's because they were exhausted after having an incredible quarter.
It was a busy second quarter for investors, Jack. So the S&P 500 went up almost 10%. In the first half of the year, most of that driven by strong second quarter performance. That was the S&P 500's best first half since 2024. And a lot of that, of course, was driven by chip stocks. We've been talking a lot. I think the story of the first half of the year in markets was scarcity, buying AI scarcity, whether it be energy, whether it be buying memory chip stocks. The SOX index in the second quarter up over 80%. It was its best quarter on record. But you saw some selling in those later in the week. What I think is most interesting right now in terms of what was working in the first half that could keep working, small caps. Finally, the Russell 2000 up over 20% in the first half of this year, its best first 6 months of a start to the year since 1991.
That's a little better than that best since 24 record, which really isn't that much. So to geek out on you here, Fama and French, the economists, had this theory about the small cap premium, and they look kind of stupid for like an entire decade. Is that finally coming back? Is the small cap premium return, do you think?
I think there's a chance small caps continue to run here. So for one, small caps are usually more economically sensitive, and you're in a position right now where the labor market data continues to be pretty strong. You're seeing strong consumption data. That's a tailwind for small caps. You're also seeing earnings accelerate for small caps. And then we were talking about all these things that have gone up. Well, small caps hadn't really been part of that rally. So people have been arguing they look better on a valuation basis. There's also a little AI tint with small caps, of course, right? There needs to be some version of AI, but AI infrastructure actually contributed about 40% of small caps gains to start the year.
We got a jobs report on Thursday for obvious reasons. So the numbers weren't great. The jobs created were half of what economists expected. Real wages down for 3 straight months, and yet there's a silver lining.
I think the silver lining is that it probably lessens the odds that the Federal Reserve is going to hike interest rates soon. Maybe they will hike interest rates at some point in 2026, but a hot jobs report where you had wages really expanding or a lot of payroll growth would have added to the inflation fears that are out there right now. It did not do that. I think that's a positive for them.
Before we move on, Meta, one of the biggest movers this past week. It could be an interesting story. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Meta trying to get into the cloud business, so they're now saying that they have excess AI. I thought everyone didn't have enough AI, but apparently Meta has too much. They're going to try and sell it as a cloud business. Investors liked it for the day. We'll see as that story plays out. I'm a little bit skeptical of that pivot from Meta.
Exactly. Already, let's stick to the AI thesis because it's the big story, of course, these days, Teresa. But did we see a preemptive shot? Sam Altman offering 5% of OpenAI to the government. Not something you hear from CEOs unless they're trying to prepare themselves for a problem down the road.
That's right. So this isn't the first time he's proposed it, but reports are suggesting there are initial talks going on. And while this is happening under the Trump administration, it's worth noting it's popular on the other side of the aisle as well. Senator Bernie Sanders has proposed a kind of sovereign wealth fund that would be a one-time tax on AI companies paid in stock that would then be used to give Americans checks.
And of course, this comes at a time when there's this backlash against AI.
Absolutely. So, of course, the Intel has an example of why companies would want the government on their side. Maybe people don't like the data centers and all of that very much, but if you have a very powerful ally, that could really change the equation.
I'm guessing if I asked AI, how do I get the value of my AI company to go up? It would say, listen, dummy, you have to get the government a stake. That way it can pave the way for your success, like with Intel and those rare earths companies. That's just business. And then you can say to the public, you can sell it and say, I know our technology might be causing job losses, but look, we're sharing the wealth with taxpayers. That's not me saying these things. That's Jack GPT saying these things.
Well, that kind of winning hearts and minds isn't really happening yet. According to a poll taken last month, the vast majority of Americans do not want data centers. 44% are against them in the U.S. 57% are against them in their own community. So I don't know how much regulation will prevent them, but money still talks.
They may not want data centers, but they do want air conditioning, Jack, which is one good reason to go to the movies this weekend.
Oh,
but if you actually wanted to see what's on the screen, what would you find?
We're on track for the best box office year this decade. You wouldn't think so because there have been so many flops. Mandalorian and Grogu, that one should have been renamed. Star Wars, the one you didn't see. Supergirl was box office kryptonite. Masters of the Universe. I know, Jack, you dressed as He-Man for that one. It did not do well. Even the final Jackass didn't do well, and that had naked pole vaulting. But the strong performers have more than made up for it. Toy Story 5, Project Hail Mary, earlier in the year, Super Mario Galaxy movie, a couple of small ones, Obsession and Backrooms. We have a lot more coming this year. Live action Moana, Odyssey, Spider-Man. Later in the year, Hunger Games, Avengers, and Dune. We could do $10 billion at the domestic box office. We're still running about $1 billion behind the all-time record in 2019, but theater owners are still very happy.
Yeah, Cinemark. That's the stock we like in that space from the Barron's Investor Circle. Don't go get AMC. We like Cinemark. The debt looks better. You can check that out on barronsinvestorcircle.com for all the details. But we're fans of Cinemark.
And it's not a meme stock.
It's not a meme stock.
Jack, what's your July 4th movie tip?
I'm surprised how much money this Project Hail Mary made. I never saw it. It comes out this weekend on the Amazon Prime or whatever, so I'm going to see it on the cheap. It's got apparently an alien made of rocks that talks to you. I don't know.
Sounds awesome.